The ultimate in sports destinations plays host to the ultimate in youth volleyball talent with teams from around the country and around the world. Today, these AAU stars hope to dig deep, proving to themselves and their clubs what it takes to be champions. Welcome to the 44th Girls Junior National Volleyball Championships. And a pleasant good morning to you inside the HP Fieldhouse. We get set for the international final as this AAU Junior National Volleyball Championship rolls on. This morning it's Club China taking on Club Dominican Republic. Come on inside our state-of-the-art studio here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. Drew Felios, thrilled to be alongside the former Florida Gator, Missy Whittemore. And Missy, we've seen some of the best in the country go head-to-head in this great tournament. Now a little international flavor. What do we expect this morning?
You know, when I think international volleyball, I immediately think about that ball control because so many of these players have played from a really young age. So while I think we're going to see the power we expect today, we're also going to see volleyball played at a real high IQ level. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right, let's take a look at this Chinese road to get here to the championship. China dominant year in and year out. Several stellar performances, but notice the one loss to Dominican Republic, the team they have a rematch with this morning.
And Dominican Republic not only takes them down, but in that first set very handedly, 25-9, and then they're able to score 17 on them in that second set. That is the most points scored against China so far in this tournament.
The talent on the Chinese side, number 7 and number 8, Wang, are one to watch. Number 8, Yishu Wang, considered the MVP of this team from China. Also, Zhao and Zhao, 11 and 16, will be forces at the net. Their head coach is Xiahua Zhang. Interesting to see the style of play that China brings to the court. All right, on the other side, the Dominican Republic, just overpowering. There has not been a team that has gone with them point for point, Missy.
No, in fact, they have not dropped a set so far in this tournament, so they come in with a whole lot of confidence, but also maybe a little pressure as they are the expected favorite here.
Their roster contains number 4, Peralta Luna. She is the MVP of this team. Also, Guillen, Paredes, Flores, and Martinez as well, 15 and 19. And they're coached by Christian Cruz Zapata. He is here year after year at this great tournament. This is going to be a very inspired team as well.
I think so. I think, you know, to be back in the finals is exactly where they want to be, and they want to defend what they have started year in and year out here.
So no case of the Mondays here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports as we continue on with what has been a fabulous 2017 here at the AAU Junior National Volleyball Championships. China will serve first. It will be Lee putting it in the air. And we are underway. Dominican Republic goes to the tip, and it's Peralta Luna, the first point.
And we talked about that high IQ game coming into the match, and you so often think that first swing you really want to take a big rip, but she sets up the defense here by tipping early because now they're forced to defend that.
That's what they have done all week, keeping their opponents off balance. That's the first service error of the match. Missy, let me ask you this. It's so early in the morning to come out and play a championship. Is it tough to play this early in the morning if you're either one of these teams?
You know, I think at the club level, this is pretty regular for these girls, and so I don't think so. And when you're playing for the championship, you got a little extra mojo going, so I expect them to come out strong even though it's early.
Back-to-back service errors, now side out for Dominican Republic. China attacks from the right side. And that's a point, as that went right past the hands of Perez Flores. And with the point, it was Zhao.
You see Dominican so far really trying to push China deep in their service game. It caused a little trouble early, but now on that last play, a really nice pass by China sets up the side out for them. And I think serve receive will be key. We'll have to watch and see how these teams go about attacking their opponent. A couple service errors early here, and so we see that these teams are choosing to serve aggressively. They know how powerful the opponent's offense is, and they've got to do something to get them off stride.
Best of 3 sets here this morning. Rally scoring to 15. Third set, of course, playing to 15. Got to win by 2. And now left side attack, dug by the Dominican. The block at the net, number 12, Guillen Paredes leading the way, and it's point Dominican Republic.
And wow, they dodge a bullet there because they send a very easy free ball over the net to China. This should be a point for China, and they're not able to execute. Huge left side block there by the Dominican to score that point.
It's amazing the size of this Dominican team here this year. And this one's going to go long. You see the power that Guillen Perez brings to the court, number 12.
Swinging it aggressively, you gotta like that. She's expecting those hands from China up there, maybe hoping to get a little piece of that, but that one sails just long.
Now to be Qichin Zhao serving for China. Another point for Dominican. So they are showing it is not just one player you can key on. They're very balanced. Also, Phyllis Senna, one to really reckon with.
And they have the ability to utilize her on the right side when they're able to get a perfect pass. And again, we see another good piece of passing there from the Dominican to set that up.
Zhao dug nicely. And the ball drops right in the middle of the court for Dominican. What happened that time, Missy?
You know, so often when the setter is forced to take that first contact, someone different is going to have to play second ball. And typically it's, you know, worked out who will step in on that. But just a little miscommunication there early in the morning for Dominican.
Interesting to see how this team from China adjusts after being blown out by Dominican the last time. That's an ace serve. It did graze the line.
Dominican there passing with primarily two passers deep, and I like what China does here. So often people go for the corners, which can create errors. Instead, she goes right for the seam, right down the middle of the court, creates a miscommunication error there.
All tied at 5, just underway. And there's another kill. Coach Zhang for China, watching how China is just dominant here year after year, but this year a little bit of a different story. Dominican Republic has made the adjustments as they knew coming in. See the kill by Fang of China, that this Chinese program was the only team to really give Dominican a run for their money.
Here we see the middle getting involved. We've seen primarily attacks from the two antennas, but China now starting to get that middle involved. That gives them a great one-on-one opportunity where she's swinging around just one blocker.
Peralta saves it. Here's Wang. Guillen again, softly this time. And that's going to be 4 hits, so another point for Dominican Republic. Saying Dominican Republic knows that China is the team that they have got to match up with. They have been dominant in the past. I remember last year beating every other team, but China continues to be kind of the thorn in their side. And this Chinese team hanging around here in the first set.
And we're seeing a little pattern develop now as China now is pretty consistently trying to work the ball to the middle. And once again, that gives you that opportunity to swing around one blocker. You mentioned earlier, Drew, how big this Dominican Republican team is. And so swinging against two blockers is quite a challenge. If they can pass well enough to get that matchup in the middle, it gives them a shot.
Oh, that's blocked nicely. And China on a nice little run.
And as soon as we compliment that Dominican block, China says, hey, wait a minute, wow, watch us. How about this? Great close from the middle. Not only does she get there, but she turns those hands back into the court. Really well played. And China, so well trained. I think that's what we've come to expect from them over the years. It's those little technical things that they do so well.
Ball served out, so it will be 8-all. Another side out to Dominican Republic. I think this first set very important for China. If they can somehow manage to steal it, that would be huge. Another nice attack, and that's Zhao with the kill.
And that time they swing from the outside, but notice only one block up. I'm so glad we get another look at this. You can see because they've run the middle so consistently, now that middle blocker from Dominican is biting with the attacker from China. She has to stay home. That opens things up on the outside, and that's what good passing does. It allows you to establish the middle.
Now played at the net. A little bit of disarray right now for Dominican. China very organized here in the first set. They score once again. It's Soon with the kill up front.
And they are just playing very disciplined, sticking with their game plan as they continue to go at the middle. That is not the hardest hit ball we're going to see by any means, but they're swinging so consistently out of the middle, swinging for the corners around the block, and we see the Dominican defense spraying a few balls.
Now the first little separation. 2-point lead for China. Dominicans a little bit shocked here on this Monday morning. Fila has tried to keep it in. Guillen also with the save, and Ubera puts it over. Softly this time, and another point for China.
And it's another point out of the middle. This is just a high ball down the middle as the setter's backing up. She really needs her attacker to bail her out here, but what a quality swing as she still is swinging for those corners, and they're specifically swinging for right back, if you notice, forcing those setters to make first contact and get the other team out of system offensively.
Big kill attempt there by Peralta. They'll go right back to her. China right now knows where that kill attack is coming from, and the soft touch over by Perez.
Very nice change up by Perez. When things are not going well, she tries a little something different and just finds that hole in the defense.
Go Zhang Wide here this morning for our international audience. It is so awesome, Missy, to see this great sport and how it is embraced around the world, isn't it?
I tell you, I think the sport of volleyball, the popularity of the sport, it just continues to increase, which blows my mind. I think some of the best female athletes around the world, some of them are choosing this sport because of the popularity that we've seen across the world. And so the level of play, it amazes me that year after year, how can it get better? And yet it does.
China with a 5-point lead over Dominican Republic. Dominican a little bit flat here in the first set. Top gun Peralta has been held in check. And Dominican continues to feed her. This time she delivers.
Dominican coming out of that timeout with a little bit of fire. You know, they, as you mentioned coming in, they have really not been pushed in this tournament. So I think the question here is how do they respond down in this situation? And I like the response right there as you see a big attack down the line.
There's the response by China, but it will be just wide. So another point for Dominican. Keep in mind, these teams 18 years old and under. And later on today, the winner of this match will take over and play the winner of the United States bracket in the 18 unders. As another point by Dominican, they've rattled off 3 in a row now.
Out of that timeout, they come storming back, and here they are within 2 once again.
That serve just kind of dropped out of the air, and it's an ace for Dominican. Make it 4 in a row.
2 quick points scored in a row here from the service line. Behind the serve of Perez Flores, really nice job.
Errores. Se nos van arriba, entonces ahí viene la presión, ahí vienen los fallos. Nos recibimos, nos bloqueamos. Entonces vamos a jugar, tenemos la oportunidad de jugar cómodo con ese equipo. ¿Cuál es la necesidad de entrar tan lenta, tan callada? Vamos a sacarle, tenemos que ser más agresivos con el saque.
So Coach Zapata telling his team, courtesy of our translators in our production center, that they have the opportunity to hang right with this team. They feel that they are the better team coming in this morning. They've just got to play their best, Missy. He's trying to obviously just rev up his bunch.
And I think, as you mentioned earlier, set 1 obviously sets the tone for the match. As we've seen throughout this tournament, very few matches going to a 3rd set. So the winner of the first one with a big advantage here in this tournament.
14-12. China with a 2-point lead. Entertaining first match here at the Junior National Volleyball Championships. Oh, put right down. Heads up at the net by Zhao.
And serving has really come into play in this match as we saw some misses early, which I think was a really key sign to the fact that they were going to go for it from the service line. And now here late in the match, some important points starting at the service line. You know, maybe not an ace, but definitely being set up from the service line.
The tap is over by Peralta.
Great body control there just to stay out of the net as that set is really tight. The setters have done a fantastic job so far today, but this one just a little tight, and she does a great job of not only staying out of the net, but dropping it right over the block.
Nonetheless, you get the sense Dominican Republic knows they cannot just overpower this team from China. Definitely have to mix it up here this morning. Tap softly, Zhao keeps it alive for China. Ubiera, right side, back over. Dominican will play it once again. And this is a point, grazed the line, and Dominican is within one.
And there's one of the longer rallies we really expected from two teams who are so good not only offensively, but defensively in the backcourt. Several nice digs there to keep that rally going.
Now some life from this Dominican team as this first set nears the stretch run. Oh, right through the block. Tell you what, Zhao has got quite a whip for that right arm.
That is a great description, a whip of an arm. She got two blockers right in front of her there, and she does not hesitate. Both blockers up. Not only does she swing hard, but she swings smart as she's purposefully going off those hands with that big swing.
How should you attack as a smaller player, Missy, to try and have the advantage at the net?
Well, that's one of the most important shots she'll ever learn. And to already be able to do that as an 18 and under is huge, because that's a shot that a lot of players in the U.S. don't really learn until college. But to go up against four big hands and have that ability to swing off the block is huge.
How about this play from Guillen?
This is a little faster outside attack. I like the speed, the tempo of the offense there. They shoot it out, and the middle blocker is forced to stay in the middle there. That gives them a really nice look, a lot of real estate to swing at.
Here's Guillen again, and she hits this one long.
After that last faster attack, this is a high ball to the outside, and she's a little early, unfortunately. So she's waiting on that one on her way down as she takes a swing, and that's what creates the error.
Now Zhao will serve. And serving continues to be critical here in this match. China with the edge, 18-15.
Really a huge part of this set, and we talked about ball control coming in, and when you think ball control, you think passing, but I think the other thing that international players do so well is serve at a high level. They have the ability to serve it hard and the ability to place the ball. Sometimes I think younger players don't understand the importance of the time spent practicing your service game. They just think, oh, I'll go back and put it in play. But wow, we have seen how serving can change a match here in this one.
Yeah, 4 service errors for China, and they still lead, but they have already scored more points in this set than they did in both of the sets the last time these two teams played. That is a mishit by Wang, and Dominican going to continue to threaten.
And that mishit comes off of a bump set because of the fact that it was a really nice serve from the Dominican Republic and put in a tough ball in play.
Dug by Jorge. Here's Guillen. Went for the middle of the court. Kept alive by Zhao. Oh, big time. That's Guillen again.
And notice the Dominican Republic continues to take advantage of that tip. In this particular rally, it doesn't go for a kill, but look what it does. It creates an out-of-system Chinese team here. They're forced to send a really easy free ball over, and the result is a big swing from the DR to finish it off.
All tied at 18. And it's in. Point for China, barely grazed the line.
Yeah, what a nice shot around the block here. That is so well placed.
China trying to be the first team to 20. There's the slide run to perfection by Rosario.
Our first really good look at a slide executed here in this match, and the Dominican Republic does it at the right time. Uses something a little different, but the setter doesn't force it. She waits until she had the nice pass there, and that was a beautiful pass that allowed her to run the offense.
Dominican getting a little bit more than they expected here in this international final. Peralta wants it again. This time goes long, and it drops in.
The open hand shot, the tip shot, we so often think of it as right over the block into the center of the court. But this is such good vision on the part of Peralta. She goes deep with the open hand tip shot, finds the corner well in bounds. That is beautiful.
到位之后，你把球传好了，是吧？要垫也是，不要往高上使劲垫，让垫到合适的位置，让人打发上力。菜发球都非常菜。
Y una bola cómoda, pan en zona 2. Ahí Katy con más dificultad para volear para adelante.
Vamos jogar já. Põe o passe para allá. Ela chama, e põe para allá. Agora tu joga para trás aqui. Mais difícil para cá. Uma ajuda a outra.
Ey, vamos, vamos, vamos. Ey, ey. La izquierda adentro, ¿eh? Katy, cierra la línea.
So Dominican Republic closing in, 20-19. China's been really tough to deal with in this opening set. Tapped over, another point. This one scored by Perez.
Great effort on the part of DR there. They score a point with their defense. And I think when you're at a turning point in a match like that, so often it's a defensive play that can put you over the top. And that's going to give them that 2-point spread. They've been very patient, chipping away at that Chinese lead.
2-point lead now. China goes to that quick tip. Soon with the dig. And the attack dug by Jorge, but goes out of bounds. The kill by Wang.
On the first attempt from China, it was Jorge who picked up a tip shot. This time, defensively, she tries to make a dig there, sprays that one wide. That one finds a nice seam in the block, actually. At first, I thought she hit around the block, but really just goes for the seam in the block. That makes for a tough defensive play.
Now Wang will serve. Back row. Oh, how about that pancake? And it does hit the ground. Good effort by China to get down, but it is a point for Dominican.
And Dominican has been successful with the tip shot short, the tip shot deep, and now the tip shot out of the back court is a success for the Dominican Republic.
Oh, looked like Zhao kept that off the floor. But we play on, 22-20. Rodriguez will serve for the Dominican. Here's Zhao. Point China.
China returns the favor, gives them a little of their own medicine, as we haven't seen the off-speed shot as much from the Chinese. And that time, perhaps by necessity, really, as she's on her way down. It's not the open hand tip shot that we've seen a lot of from the DR, but an off-speed shot.
This one sails wide, so Dominican will keep that 2-point lead, and now 2 away from taking this first set.
That looked like a big opportunity for China, as there was a little bit of a collision at the net for the DR. The setter had trouble getting back to her blocking position at the net. She was late. I thought China was going to be able to take a big rip at that.
Now right side, beautifully done. That was timed to perfection. Zhao just lofted it over the block.
Dominican Republic left side defensive player playing deep on the line. And so that off blocker is going to be asked to release. And that's a really hard play for a youngster to make.
So now Lee will head back to serve for China. China trying to steal this first game, a heavy underdog coming into this championship. Tapped over, and this is gonna find the floor. Feliz makes it game point.
And why not go with the tip shot, as it's created all sorts of confusion for China. I'm really surprised that they haven't made an in-match adjustment up to this point. I think it's something they'll be talking about for sure after this first set.
Here's Peralta for the set. China Attacks right from the middle. Ball stays off the floor though. And this one is going to be a point for China. So China will stay alive, and now they're within one.
Momentarily, I think China thought that ball was down, started to celebrate, but realized the officials were calling that up and did a good job of sticking with it.
This is the biggest point of the match thus far. Dominican gets it. They take the set. China trying to stay alive. Big swing, and there you go for Guillen. She would have none of that as Dominican finally finishes off China. It was not easy here in set one inside the HP Fieldhouse, but Dominican Republic does get it done 25-23. Set number two coming up next. You're watching the AAU Junior National Volleyball Championships.
When you run Disney, every mile is magic. Marathon and half-marathon races through the Disney theme parks are waiting for you at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida and Disneyland Resort in California. Known for courses lined with Disney entertainment and the best finisher medalers around, Run Disney events are a must-do for veteran runners and newcomers alike. For more information, visit rundisney.com.
My bad. I'll just sit over here. It's all right.
Win one MVP.
It's time for a little NFL football, and nothing says football like a Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. How about that?
I'm going to Carolina in my mind right now.
I think Ron Rivera is going to be happy with that.
Go the distance with Disney and the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex in Florida by training or competing in one of the many track and field events hosted here annually. From Disney Track and Field Spring Training to the Walt Disney World Cross Country Classic to Disney Track and Field Showcase. Get ready for your season or get noticed by any of the numerous college recruiters in attendance. Check out DisneyTrackandField.com for more information.
Welcome back to the international final. Drew Felios alongside Missy Whittemore. 25-23. Dominican takes China in that first set. It was a set defined by the serve. China with some service errors early, but they still managed to hang in, Missy.
They really did. They played with the lead most of this first set, and we saw right away that serving was going to be important. Both teams very aggressive from the service line. That one didn't help, but the defense of China early on scores a point from them until we start to see more and more of the high-flying DR. Big kills from the antennas, both swinging away, and the tip shot was very important. It's the block from the DR, turning the ball back in bounds to keep them in it, and they finish it off with that big swing at the end.
This Dominican team so impressive when they are all on the same page and have it working. Cruz Zapata, the head coach of Dominican, on the right, and Zhang, the head coach of China, on the left. I would still say up to this point, tremendous game plan by the Chinese club, though, to come in here and hang with Dominican.
And I think they've got to get back to that game plan. You're exactly right, Drew. What they were successful with early was swinging out of the middle. And they weren't the big dominant swings necessarily, but it created confusion on the part of the DR's defense. And I would expect them to go back to that early here in this second set.
Take a look at Perez. She played well in the first set. Also Rosario and Guillen was the hammer for Dominican Republic. She wears number 12 on the red side.
The DR had not been pushed much coming into this match, and they play from behind in most of set one and then make a great response there late in that set to take it.
Let's see if that was the wake-up call that they needed. As we begin set number two. And the first kill by Peralta.
Two blockers up, four hands in her face, and she does not shy away. A big high swing, though, and that's another thing these young outside attackers have to learn, how to swing high, and Dominican Republic does a good job of that.
Now China goes back to Wang. Wang had a nice angle. Here's Peralta again, softly this time, and paints the line.
And that is where I would expect to see an adjustment from China. The tip shot for the DR has given them all sorts of issues. Short tip shots over the block, just like that one. We saw deeper tip shots there in the first set. And China is going to have to make a defensive adjustment if they want to stay in this match.
Here's Wang. Back row now. China not been able to really get a good swing here in the second set.
And I think that's the result of some faulty passing. We said, well, they go back to the middle where they had success, and quite honestly, they have not had the opportunity yet to go back to the middle. This is a nice tip shot over, though, from the setter as we see her taking it over on second contact. And again, she finds that Chinese defense unaware on the tip shot.
That was a heads-up play by Perez. Now Dominican trying to keep this one alive. How in the heck did they get that ball over? Dominican showing they can play some serious defense.
Great effort plays on the part of the DR.
Another block at the net. Rosario, Dominican has taken over this match at the moment, 4-0.
Wasn't the prettiest play we've seen so far today, but I'll tell you what, if I'm the DR coach, I think I like it the most, because this play right here, throughout that entire play, full of effort, chasing balls off the court, and they end up winning it at the net in a blocking battle.
Yeah, that was the best point of the match thus far. And now China a little bit confused. I think they're going to need a timeout here, Missy.
It's another poor pass on the part of the Chinese. That one literally unplayable. Up to this point, they have not had a pass where they have 3 options offensively.
那动作那球啊，你说还是心里边不过关，那就是啊，然后那球判断好了之后，他都有点上来了，啊，没等球过来就开始跳，一传全一传毛病，那球发多菜啊，放松点脚底下接发球的时候，是不是、啊？蹲那么死啊，像防守似的，现在一碰就接了，哎，这球往脚上一个脚踢能踢到位，说大家训练的这发100都到100，然后打比赛的时候不到位，啊，就心理负担太大，放开点，输赢无所谓，放开点啊。 要打几个漂亮球！换小人打。
Well, Coach Zhang telling his team, for our American audience, just relax, thinking a little bit too much. There is that point in a match, Missy, where things may really get tested. The game plan may come apart. This is a huge moment for China here.
He also several times made that passing motion with his arms. And so I think, you know, that's definitely a concern. He made a real lazy passing motion early on. And I think that's the message. Like, we have got to be on our game passing wise.
This ball hit just a little bit wide. It'll be the first point for China here in set 2. So much needed out of the timeout. Very close, about 6 inches wide of that line. Now it's Fang. Well, right now, Peralta's really on her game up front.
And Jorge, in that white jersey for the DR, playing the libero position, is making a huge impact on this match. You don't see her up at the net taking the big swings, but the passes she's giving the setters, allowing them to run a beautiful offense. And for China, we have not seen that sort of passing.
7 kills now for Peralta, leading her team. Wang goes back to work for Club China. So Wang has been quiet as of late. They really need her to get going. Now Lang Wang will serve for the Chinese. Keep in mind, we'll see one of these 2 teams later on as they take on the best from the United States in the 18 and under final. Peralta softly this time. Hitting off the block. Peralta just rising above everyone right now.
And that's Peralta swinging into the block of Wang on the right side right now for China. They're really forcing her to have to concentrate defensively, hitting a lot of balls at her, and then keeping China out of system. Because Wang plays on the right side for them, they've got to have better ball control to get her involved in this match. Here they force one back. She's able to tip that one over.
Blocked at the net. And it'll be a point for Dominican. So the block right now, just struggling. What has been the difference, Messi, between this set so far and in set 1? Because China, their block just not holding up to the challenge at this point.
Yeah, I think that DR came out really focused here in this second set, sticking to their game plan, I think a little better from the get-go, and really going after that block. You know, they are not hesitating at all.
There's a miss hit by Zhao. So the attack also starting to break down just a bit.
And you know, Drew, you've described this Chinese team, I think, very accurately as a well-oiled machine. And so I'm a little surprised at the breakdown we've seen between passer and setter, because I don't think this is necessarily a result of a lack of offense, but they're just not playing in the system that we're used to seeing them.
And another point for Dominican off the double hit. Go Jiang trying to make the adjustments mid-game, but right now his team struggling at the moment. Dominican still manages to get this one over, but the block comes through. Now China will put it over with Zhao. Trying to set Felice. Now to their top gun, Peralta, and she scores again.
And you know, I think China needs more production out of Wang, who's wearing the number 8 jersey for them, and yet she's getting frustrated defensively as the DR just goes at her and her own team, not able to get their offense running smoothly. And so we're seeing a little bit of a frustration response here from China right now.
So now it'll be Perez. Felice, dug by Zhang. And now Zhao just having problems trying to hit over that block. It is a towering presence at the net.
And really advantage to the block in that particular situation. The ball was set pretty tight and low, but DR is winning the balls they're supposed to win. They're just not making mistakes. That's a ball they should have. They go up and seal the net perfectly.
It's always fun to watch these international teams play in this great tournament. Usually with the younger ages, 12 and 13, the teams from Puerto Rico really seem to shine. Saw an emotional win for them. They're 12-year-olds. Missy, earlier last week, you should have seen these young ladies play. So awesome. The things that these young players can do nowadays, it's amazing how the game continues to advance. I mean, you see these high flyers, 12 and 13 years old. It's incredible.
It's so true. It is so true. I mean, in an age of specialized sport, whether you like it or not, these girls are playing year-round, and the level of play it continues to rise year after year.
Perez with the set. And the block on this time. A point for China. Zhao right there, number 16. How about at the collegiate level, Missy? We know you're very active year in and year out with the SEC network and ESPN. What type of a college season was it? How could you describe 2016?
You know, what an interesting year to call. I think you really saw, you see such different styles of play in conference that I was really looking forward to postseason this year to see, you know, how was the Big Ten going to match up against everyone else? They had been so dominant throughout the season, and their teams advanced so well in the tournament. You know, they continue to just be fantastic, but it's the Pac-12 who reigns again in the world of volleyball. And you know, such an incredible win for a very young Stanford team this year. I just couldn't believe they were able to take those youngsters to the finals. And now we've seen the retirement of head coach John Dunning there. So the end of a chapter in Stanford volleyball, but it was a really exciting season.
Here, 14-5. China trying to get back into this match. After Dominican has dominated the early points here in set 2. Get another point there, as China right now does not know where it is coming from. Cruz Zapata, I love his coaching adjustment. His team tested early on. He did not lose his cool. Instead, called a few timeouts, talked some sense into his ladies, and boy, they have really responded.
And these players at an age where it can be kind of fun to make the big dynamic swings, such as right there, but they really understand the entire game, and they've used their tip shot so wisely. They understand that even if they don't score on it, they're setting themselves up for the next swing, for an even better swing. And so that takes a lot of patience and an understanding of the game plan and the big picture, and I'm impressed with what these young DR players have been able to do.
And right now it is getting fun for Dominican as Felice with the ace serve. So big kill by Perez, Felice with the ace, and a 12-point lead, 17-5. Joust at the net, won by Dominican.
DR once again scoring points from the service line. And when you score at the service line, it happens so quickly. that the opponent looks up at the scoreboard and all of a sudden the gap is bigger than they expect, and that can be a little overwhelming right now for China.
Lee is in the game, the libero for China. See if she can make a difference on defense. They swing right at her, and Guillen just too much velocity.
Guillen with one of the prettier swings we've seen so far today. She goes up high to get that one. I don't think you have to worry about whether she went through the block or around it. She might have just gone right over it.
5 kills now for Guillen. That's going to be a serve that goes long, so China will get the side out.
And we talked about the fact that we have seen some service errors, but if I'm the DR, yeah, I'm very happy with the ratio of errors to, I don't know if you can say aces, but really quality serves, as they have set themselves up well from the service line.
Nice point that time by Wang. So Yishu Wang would have had to play just an out-of-this-world match for China to continue to hang in with Dominican. Here she is here on the right side.
And the difficulty for the Chinese is that this is their MVP, and she swings from the right side. So anytime you're trying to work the ball consistently to the right side, that involves really high-level ball control to the setter. And because they've struggled in their ball control game, Dominican Republic has really taken Wang out of this match.
Yeah, you saw Fang that time. A little surprised that they did not set Wang again. She's in her comfort zone over there on the right. Little decisions like that have hurt China in this match.
When all the stars are in a row, they've got to get the ball to her.
Guillen puts it over, 20-7. 13-point edge, and this one's going to be long. So Dominican Republic closing in on a straight set victory here in the international final.
And as you reach that 20 mark, you'll see young players perhaps trying to do too much with one swing. You know, take a quality swing, keep it in bounds, give your defense a chance right here.
Dug by Jorge. Good job by Lee to get on the deck. Now Wang, and she's just not swinging a good percentage at the moment.
DR has done a great job of digging her. And so she'll take a nice first rip at the ball, she'll get dug, and she'll try to make an adjustment and hit a shot that's not really in her wheelhouse. So I think, once again, credit that DR defense for creating those errors.
Dominican Republic weathered the early storm. They were really tested in that first set. Could have easily dropped it, but got the critical points when they needed. And now 3 points away. Well, it is going to be tough for a team from the United States to deal with them later on. Interesting to see how they match up with this Dominican team. China not done just yet, as they make it 22-8.
The United States, if the DR were to advance, will take on a team that's not only talented, but I would say up to this point has put forth great effort in this first match here early in the morning in a tournament where they have played day after day, long days of volleyball, and I still like the effort level we're getting from the DR.
China's been the roadblock to Dominican Republic in years past. Does not look like that's going to be the case this year. How about that slide? Rosario teeing off.
And again, the DR, that is a beautiful slide ball, both from the setter and the attacker. But what they do so well is they utilize that at moments when they're not forcing it. You know, when the setter is comfortable setting it, when the hitter has a really nice attack at it. And so I like the fact that they don't force it. They use it when it's there, and it is so successful for them.
Big serve by Rodriguez. Dominican playing solid defense. China with the pancake there. So now it's match point, and there's your upcoming matches, the 18 Open final. And we'll determine the best United States team, then the World Championship at 3, and the 16 Open final, the final match of the day. Dominican Republic putting the finishing touches on China. Oh, what a play by Peralta, and that is going to do it.
And something we haven't seen yet so far today. So there is another wrinkle up their sleeve that I'm sure we'll see much more of in the finals.
Dominican Republic, I guarantee you, these young ladies remember being denied in 2016 what was rightfully theirs, the International Championship here at the ESPN Wide World of Sports. You see the great sportsmanship after the contest. China and Dominican Republic, hats off to both of these teams. But in the end, it's a dominant performance by Club Dominican Republic. They win 2-0 over China. For our entire crew at the ESPN Wide World of Sports in the production center, alongside Missy Whittemore, the former Florida Gator, I'm Drew Felios saying so long. 18 Open Championship coming up at 11 o'clock. We will see you then from the Walt Disney World Resort.